It is scary leaving your child with someone else. Then, on top of being scared, you might feel some mom guilt for wanting to be alone, or even the fact that you know you want to go back to work. Hey mamas, it's Jessica Gordon. If you're new here, what is up? If you have already been a subscriber, what is good? Just so excited to share more information with you. I get a lot of questions and engagement around being a mom. And being that I've had 2 under 2, I know a little something about selecting a daycare. My boys have been in-home daycares twice, and they have been at a facility. And so I definitely have some perspective to share, and looking forward to sharing that with you today. All right, so as I mentioned, I am a mom, and I am a boy mom. So I have 3 boys, and our oldest is 12, and I am a bonus mom to him. And then our 2 youngest, ages 4 and a 3-year-old. So yes, my boys are 1 year apart. For my mamas that count months, they are 15 months apart. So yes, when my oldest child that I pushed out was only 7 months old, me and my husband got pregnant again like some fools. But that's for another video. I was deep into my career at that time in education. I was working as a director. And so for me, I was ready to go back to work, or so I thought I was. And so with my oldest that I pushed out, I went back to work when he was 12 months. And 12 months, that's a whole year. You all went back to work when he was 12 weeks old. And then with my youngest, I went back to work at 8 weeks old. And so just from my own experiences, you all, my first piece of advice is to get quiet, center yourself, and consider what is important to you. Yes, right now you have this little person who needs you at all times of the day, potentially may not be sleeping, and I understand, as someone who did it, it can be very important for you to have time to yourself. But I really want you to get quiet and consider, in 5 years, I know it's hard to consider because now that my son is in pre-K, y'all, it's hard for me. But I want you to think about when your baby is 5 years old, going to kindergarten, and it's going to be away from you already 180 days out of the month. Are you going to look back and regret not spending as much time as possible with your baby when your baby truly needs you? Because right now, y'all, my 4-year-old, he want to get dressed by himself. He wants to cook. He wants to make his own lunch for school. He is truly an independent little 4-year-old. And so I just say, and I know this is totally different from, you thinking about the 1, 2, 3 of selecting a daycare, but from mom to mom, from parent to parent, please consider and get quiet about what is going to be most important to you 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. I don't want you to regret, because from my experience, I wish that I had stayed home longer. I know that's not everybody's story. I went back to work, like I mentioned, at 12 weeks and 8 weeks with the boys, and I truly wish I had stayed home for a year. I do. I wish that I had stayed home for maybe a year or 2. And then I had my youngest, Cairo, in 2019. Child, if I knew COVID was coming, honey, I would have never went back to work on them folks. Okay, so I felt sad, I felt some regret, and so I just don't want that for anyone else. So I'm sharing that information with you to help you as a guiding point. So that is my number one tip for selecting a daycare. All right. My number 2, getting to actually you putting them in daycare because you already made the decision. You're at one with what you want to do. My number 2 is to ask your family, ask your friends, ask coworkers, ask anyone that you trust. Who do they trust with their children? Have they gone the daycare route that's close in your area? Do they know someone that has an in-home daycare where your child can be around less people and in a small setting, small environment, getting that feedback directly one-on-one? Because when you do choose a facility, you end up in a situation where the person who started that morning shift may not be the same person who ended the shift, and they don't know what breast milk was given, they don't know what food was given, and it can be challenging. There's always going to be something. So I always tell people to communicate, but truly ask people that you trust, who do they trust their children with? And that's a great way for you to find a place for your child. All right. So that's step 2. Ask everyone that you trust where their children going. So third thing I would tell you to do is go visit several daycares, be it in-home, be it a facility. Go visit several so that you can see what they're offering. So you can also see, are they sitting on the floor with the babies? You don't want somebody just looking at the babies in the cribs. You want someone that's going to sit down with your baby and sit on the floor with them and let them have tummy time and play and laugh and smile at them. So I think it's important to go in and see what type of environment is already set up in the space. I just think that is so important, as well as just filling the space out. I'm really someone that believes in trusting your intuition, because you want to know, like, pay attention to the food, pay attention to the cleanliness, pay attention to, do they have the doors locked? Which now with COVID, most places are going to have their doors locked. It's precautionary, but if the doors are locked and you ring the bell, are they greeting you, welcoming you in, or are they saying, meeting you at the door like you can't come in whatsoever, you can't schedule anything, or you need to call us, email us? Find out the vibes, because it's just so important. It's, leaving your child somewhere right now in this time, I know, is extremely unsettling. It can be very scary. So I just encourage you, go visit as many places as possible. All right. And for my 4th tip for selecting a daycare is ask questions. How much are you going to be charged? What is their nutrition plan? What is their milk policy? You all, this was a huge one for us, because I nursed both of my boys for 12 months. And then my pediatrician, my husband and I, we decided that we did not want to give the boys cow's milk, and we decided on pea milk. It has a lot of protein. It was a decision that we made. We didn't want the fat of the cow's milk given to the boys. That was just a decision that we made. One of the daycares really gave us a hard time. They were like, they have to have a doctor's note. And I'm like, this is a family preference. It's my child. Like, what do you mean that you're not going to give my child the milk that I'm paying for? Like, I'm paying you almost $3,000 a month, and you telling me that you don't give my child the milk that I'm willing to bring and pay for? It was very, very frustrating. So ask questions about things that are important to you. Are they throwing your breast milk out? It's depending on the age of your child. If you're nursing, are they going to be throwing that stuff out? Do they provide wipes? Do they provide diapers? Just so many. There are tons of questions that you could check. Like, do a quick Google search. Have your checklist and say, hey, I would love to discuss these questions with you. Is there someone that can answer these questions? I need about 15 minutes of your time. But ask tons of questions. Like, don't be afraid. Ask about staffing. Ask about their numbers. People often say that they have small numbers. That's a gimmick. That's a way that they advertise that their facility is the best, because we are 3-1 or we're 12-1. Baby, I had the same thing happen. I had a facility, top notch, very expensive, telling me that my child would be 12-1. That's 12 students to 1 teacher. Baby, we got there were 23 children in that class. They were 3 years old. That is too much. That is chaotic. Have you met 3-year-olds? Okay. So y'all, it was just not okay. Okay. Ask all the questions. As your little ones get older and you're selecting a daycare, if you're not eligible for your free pre-K, or you know that you want more of a structured environment, ask about the education of the workers, the teachers. So at the current place that my youngest is at, The preschool teachers all have to have a degree. And for me, that's important because I'm an educator. I taught school for years. So for me, making sure that my baby is learning it's just a key. It's very important. I can't spend that kind of money and we're not learning anything. Play is fun and play is a part of learning, but we have to know how to incorporate all. So ask the questions that are most important to you. And step 5, the 5th step that I would share with you, or 5th tip, is to trust your instincts. If you have family that can keep your baby and you know that that will be better, do that. If you go to a facility and you feel pretty good about it, know that something may come up and make you uncomfortable. Communicate that and ask the director or whoever's in charge at that place, here's what bothered me, here's what I would like to see done. How can we make this improvement? Talk to the teacher, because no place or no person is going to be perfect. No matter which daycare, in-home facility that you choose, it's truly about trusting your instincts as well as asking those questions and communicating. Put it all out there, okay? So, lastly, I would say that sending your baby to a stranger is a really hard thing to do. I remember crying. I remember feeling a lot of anxiety, you all. I remember feeling, and I just felt really overwhelmed. Like the thought, not even about school shootings. It was just the thought of my baby who cannot talk being in the hands of someone else was challenging for me. And if you have those, I have a feeling that the fact that you're watching this and trying to be prepared, you may have those same fears. It is hard. But as I mentioned, trusting your instincts will take you very, very far. I'm sending love and light to you, love and light to your baby. Your baby is covered, so don't feel too worried. You got this. So if you're still here, please like, subscribe, post a comment, share with someone else if I gave any tips that were that stood out for you, or please feel free to share anything that you look for when you're looking for a daycare. All right. Love and light to each one of you.